Sean O'Connell, Dan Hardy, Frans Mlambo, who's participating in the upcoming Paris PFL Europe event, semifinal matchup against Francesco Nuzzi. And Frans, first of all, welcome to the show. How you been feeling? How's camp?
Very good. You guys are actually interrupting me from doing a little session. I was just about to. I was throwing in some gear there. I was about to get on them roads.
You run everywhere, my friend. I remember we were doing a shoot at, was it the Brandenburg Gate? And I was looking around, like trying to gather the fighters, like, okay, everybody back into taxis, back to the hotel. And Frans Mlambo just took off running, just took off running. I'm like, dude, it's fight week. He's like ran like 60 miles that week.
That's what you got to do, man. That's how I explore the city. You know what I mean? Just put on a pair of runners and just go see the sights. You know what I'm saying?
I did the same thing in Berlin, but I did with those electrical scooter things. I'm not running anywhere, man. I'm on an electric scooter. I'm on the streets, but I'm scooting around. Let's talk about the matchup. I mean, you coming off an impressive performance, Nuzzi coming off a really dominant performance. How do you think the two of you plays out?
Fantastically, like I'm saying, I'm really excited for this one because I know this guy is predominantly a striker. You know what I mean? And that just plays into my game. That's what I'm mostly excited for about this fight, really. Just to make it a striking war, and especially how sloppy I feel like I performed the last time. I feel like against my like against a striker, then I'd be more confident, I think, to show what I really have there on the striking, and I think that's going to come out. And he's going to bring that out in me. I feel like he's the kind of fighter to bring that out in me. So, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. You talking about that last performance because you weren't happy with it, which means that you're expecting a whole other level when we arrive in Paris. I mean, that must be difficult for him to prepare for. Like, what are you expecting from yourself? Like, how do you quantify that level?
Like, but the best way to say is like what John said to me after the fight, right? Because I was like, I was telling him, I was like, I just wasn't feeling myself in there. I was like, I don't know what was going on there. I was like, the state of the shots I was throwing. I was like, I give out to people all the time in the gym for throwing shots like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you doing? You look like you're being turkey. You know what I mean? I'm throwing these crazy over rights. And he always says to me, he was like, Frans, he was like, listen. He's like, I've seen you train for ages. He's like, you're one of the best strikers I've ever seen, like hands down. But when you go into fights, then you change your whole thing. You get too excited, and from time to time, that shows where, you know what I mean. I show up to a fight and I perform to what I'm able to. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. He goes to me. I think it's a psychological thing, which is something I don't know what it is, but I do feel it. I think in there, I put it down to rust this time around, where I was like, you know, I felt real good. I was moving, but then it just isn't working. It's just the mechanisms weren't working correct. Because I think maybe I'm thinking of other things, takedowns and all that. And he was pretty good at takedowns. He threatened them straight away. So maybe he cut me off at the legs from that stage. But that's why now, realizing that I'm coming in with a striker, I'm more ready to, do you know what I mean? To just let loose in that aspect, if you know what I'm saying.
So I've had this conversation a lot recently. I don't know why it's come up so many times recently, but I'm of the opinion that winning ugly is one of the things that's most important in every sport, in our sport especially, right? Because you're not always going to be firing on all cylinders. And what we're talking about is you coming off a performance where you feel like you weren't yourself, you didn't fight to the best of your ability. At the end of the day, it's a win. So when you're coming away from something like that, do you focus more on the criticism of, I shouldn't have been doing this, I shouldn't have been doing this? Or do you lean on the idea like, man, if I'm fighting at 75% of my capability and I still come away with a win, what's going to happen when I hit 100%? How do you frame it mentally?
That's exactly it, though. That's exactly it. Because I'm thinking, right? Because when I watch it, I'm like, oh, actually, that didn't look as bad as I felt in the fight. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like this, it's not going to happen to me all the time. Obviously, I put it down to the rust, and more times than not, I know how to switch that off. Like, say if I have a bad first round, like I know how to switch that up usually. Do you get what I'm saying? So even when I do watch that fight, I'm like, I'm not happy about how I felt, but I still won. I'm like, you know what? If that's the worst I'm gonna be, I'm good to take on anybody, and that's how I feel, anyways. Because the reason why I mentioned that about in that fight about feeling so rusty, it just kind of scared me, because I was like, am I not as good as I thought I was? Do you get what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I thought I could do this, but I didn't do it as I thought I could. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what it was. It was eating at me more as like, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. But then, like, that's what I said when I went back and watched it. Then I did some nice things there, and then when I got back to the gym, then and I was training, I was like, actually, no, what am I talking about? I still have it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's so looking at that fight, I'm like, right, didn't have a good day there, but you know what I mean? That's not the best I have. And even with my worst, I can still be a high level guy like that. So it's you know what I mean? It's not bad. It just goes to it just makes me make sure that I am as slick as possible when I get in there. You know what I mean?
Mm. So you've just said that you know that if you have a bad first round, you can adapt and you can regroup and come back in the second. Because this is a tournament format, does it feel at all like that? Like, like after a fight, normally you're like, okay, well, it wasn't my best performance, but I got the victory, we move on. But because this is a tournament format, do you kind of feel like, well, that is like a bad first round, and now I can adapt and go into the second and third round, be in the playoffs and the championships, and be more dominant? It, like, you've got more time to adapt, of course, and they're 3 separate fights. But like, does it feel different because you kind of kept yourself in contention with the win?
Yeah, I suppose, but at the same time, in an ideal world, like, how I felt initially coming into this whole thing, I was like, I'm gonna just bulldoze through everybody. You know what I mean? That type of, I'll take it easy the first round, that wasn't in my head. That just kind of has happened. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't perform as well as I assumed I would, coming off such a long layoff. You know what I'm saying? I'm being so hungry to get back in there. So I kind of lost my train of thought there, but did I answer your question real good?
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. Absolutely. I was just, it's just different because obviously, like, you know that a lot, as long as you get a win, you stay in the tournament. Do you know what I mean? So you've got time to adapt.
Right, yeah.
Like, I wonder if your mind would be different. Like, say if you'd have, knocked him out in the first round or submitted him in the first couple of minutes, like, would we be talking to a completely different version of Frans Mlambo, who still feels like he's going to bulldoze the rest of the tournament?
That's exactly what would have happened. If I had taken him out in the first round, then I would have felt like, right, what I thought was going to happen has happened. So this is going to be the trajectory now. I'm going to just smoke everybody else. But that still doesn't stop it. That, you know what I mean? It just kind of takes that first round out. I'm like, right, that was that was kind of my warm-up fight. And then now we're getting going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like taking it stage by stage. I'm looking to smoke Newty, and I'm looking to smoke the next bloke as well. I'm not trying to go 3 rounds at any time, but this is a fight game, and I'm fighting against athletes that, do you know what I mean, are trained to do this. So you can't just always go in there and assume you're just going to knock somebody out. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? That's not the game we're in.
All right. Pretend you're cornering Nutsi. You're trying to coach Nutsi through beating you. What are you working on right now in these final 12 days before the fight to beat Frans Mlambo?
I'm going to need a bit more time there, because that's a hard one, man.
Running.
You know what I mean?
Lots of running.
Yeah. you need to be on your toes, because you're gonna be one. You're gonna want to be on the way in there first of all. And I don't see it, man. I don't see a way out for him, to be honest. You're gonna have to ask somebody else. I don't see it. I don't see it.
That's totally fair, because I mean, you're not supposed to have that mentality, right? Of how do you beat Frans Mlambo? For you, where are you most dangerous now that you've learned from the first fight out, the first event? Where are you most dangerous, heading into this fight against Francesco Nuzzi, still knowing that you've got to advance and you got to move on to the championship?
I feel everywhere really, because like how I'm predicting this is what usually happens when I fight strikers. Is they're only strikers for the first few minutes of the fight, and then they try to turn into wrestlers. You know what I mean? But then I have another game for that as well. I've been developing my takedown defenses and all that kind of stuff the last while. I think I showed a tiny bit of my improvement on the ground in my last fight, not as much as I would have liked, but that game is there. Like, so I'm dangerous on the feet, but I'm way more dangerous on a stage where I wasn't so dangerous before, which was on the ground. You know what I mean? And I feel like that I have I'm very dangerous there as well. So anywhere you go, like it's a nightmare.
Do you find that your striker confidence is higher now? You've got that that safety net of a good ground game as well.
For sure, yeah, for sure, 100%.
So tell me about, because you've been a mainstay in Irish MMA for many years. You've been there like throughout the growth and like the big boom, the pop. What's Irish MMA like now since the last few years of just kind of I mean, they've made the scene grow so drastically in the last few years. You agree?
Yeah. It's booming, man. I don't know how else to say it. It's booming. It's growing. There's just so many like this, and everybody's starting from way younger now. Like, you know what I mean? Where back in the day when I was around starting off, there would have just been like maybe 5 young kids in the gym. Now there's like 150. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're just scattered everywhere, like, and then obviously I'm here a long time, like, so I'm seeing guys that were like young kids coming in, and now they're starting to fight and stuff like that. But they have such a big like base, you know what I mean? Such a big following as well, because like the sport has just grown so much. So it's all in the schools and everything else. It's now it's getting big, man. It just needs to get big in my world and bank account. Do you know what I'm saying?
Specifically bank account, yeah.
Exactly. Well, specifically that.
The opportunity, right, really is you win in Paris, and then there's a championship, and it just so happens to be in Dublin, Ireland, right? So it can all come together.
It's written, man. It's written.
I'm thinking about the other two guys in the lightweight bracket. You've got Dylan Tuke and John Mitchell, both with really tough fights, both desperate to be to be fighting there. What would it be like if all three of you are on that card in Dublin in December?
Yeah, like that would be one of them. That would be one of them times where you hear that place just erupt. Do you know what I'm saying? Because 1 will do it, 2, and then 3 will just flip and skyrocket the place. You know what I'm saying? Especially on a card where it's kind of different. It's not like Bellator where you expect loads of guys to be there. So I think anybody that would be there would be highly favored, because there's such a small number. Do you know what I'm saying? But not only that, because Irish fans, you know yourself. But I think it'd bring that bit extra if the whole lot of us are there. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right, we can let you get to your run since we're the ones who interrupted it. How far are you going?
Who knows, man? We'll see where the wind blows.
Wait. You're telling me you just start running, you just Forrest Gump, and you don't have a plan on when you're going to stop?
Just go. Usually, look, usually, right, I do like a 20, 15 minute like run, warm up to the place. And then so I go to a green. See, I've changed locations now, so it's switched up a bit. So right now I run to the Phoenix Park. There's a green there and there's a pitch. So you do sprints, 10 sprints, 1 goalpost to the other, jog halfway, walk the rest, and then sprint the other side. You know what I'm saying? And then 5 sprints running backwards as well. So you do 5 of them. But I've been doing this a while now, and I'm going to have to show you guys at one stage, but I am seriously fast at sprinting backwards. So much so, right? I don't know if you guys have to deal with this, but there's a certain thing that when you're when you're late for a bus, right, and you're running for it, you can never go that fast. Something happens to you, right, where you're just like, how am I going so fast? It just happens. It's like a scientific thing. When you're running for the bus, you run as fast as ever, right? Anyways, I get that when I'm running backwards because it's crazy. It just, I can proper sprint, like as in sprint speed, but going backwards. I'm gonna have to show you guys one day. Awesome.
I need to see that for sure because
Yeah,
the back pedal, man, that's a
it's
skill.
flipping crazy. Yeah. Back pedal, I like that. Yeah.
That is a skill,
Yeah.
absolutely. That sounds like a routine that you've been doing for like 10 years now. Like, do you remember where you got it from?
I just started it myself.
Really?
Like, just the place I was kind of just allowed that. There was just a green with goals, and I was just like, I'm gonna sprint, and it just kind of, it worked for me as like a little regime. Do you know what I mean? So I just kept doing it, and that's what I've been doing for a while. Obviously, I add on off, but that's kind of my staple type of thing. Like, I do that every single Sunday.
Yeah.
Rain, weather, doesn't matter the weather. It's just every Sunday you're out there running, you know.
Yeah, I like those things. It's like an anchor in your training camp. I used to have a spot right near the River Trent, and it's like 12 lampposts, and I used to know like my shuttles between the lampposts.
There you go. Yeah.
Like if I was doing that in training camp, I was on the right track. Yeah, and I know that same feeling. So you're almost there now. I mean, you've got like a week left of training, pretty much before fight week. You must be winding down now, right?
Yeah. Like I'm chilling, you know, just getting the flipping, just regulating the weight around the place. But yeah, man, I'm flipping ready to go. Basically, I'm just buying time till I get to Paris.
Nice, awesome.
Well, we will see you there. Stay healthy, enjoy your run, enjoy training, and we'll chat soon.
Let's do it. Nice one, guys. I'll catch y'all later.